Welcome to SAP HANA in the Cloud Hosting. This presentation will be discussing how and with whom to host your SAP HANA implementation in the cloud. And my name is Frank Dravis, and I am the Director of BI HANA Services with Utopia. In a previous presentation that you can find on YouTube, I spoke at length about the value proposition of HANA in the cloud. Elevated deployment success, no hardware purchasing, lower operational complexity, reducing the burden on your IT staff, and changing the budget equation from CapEx to OpEx. Those are all very powerful points, and I recommend that you find that particular video that talks about that, because it helps support the notion of how and with whom to host your SAP HANA implementation. And so your deployment options vary from on-premise to co-location all the way over to hosted. And what we're trying to do is, through the hosting option and picking the correct hosting provider, is to reach the promise that this slide shows, and that is, having a hosted solution, getting you to deploy HANA within 30 to 45 days after purchase. If you do it on premise, you're looking at 90 to 180 days. And so when you're looking at a hosting provider and the infrastructure they offer, you're going to want to be pay attention to what sort of infrastructure is provided, what sort of infrastructure support and administration staff and service on top of that hardware infrastructure is provided. What does the data center build out look like, and how effectively is the data center run, because it is about achieving your SLA. Are you interested in 99.95% uptime? So both those slides and this slide here I covered to pretty good detail in the HANA hosting values presentation. And understand that when we go through considering the hosting option, these are the different factors that you will be considering if you're going to go on premise or hosting. Availability of your capital, how much your data source is going to grow over time, your go live urgency, your available data center space, staff, systems administration, proximity to users. And so that proximity to users one is an interesting element that I'm going to show you when I bring up the network slide for our hosting partner, who is Savvis. Now, it's important that when you consider a hosting provider and you actually go into the cloud with HANA, that you have an infrastructure that encapsulates all of the SAP ecosystem. You may not have all of these applications, but it'll be important for your strategic planning within your organization to understand that if you put HANA in there, can SAP BW follow it? Can you get BI next to your HANA server? Can you have ECC in the cloud? Or better yet, can you have ECC, which is otherwise known as SAP ERP? Can you have it on-premise? And what is the latency in connecting it with your transactional updates to HANA? MDM, and data services, which is otherwise known as BODS on this slide. Data services used to connect all of these together. These are important technical considerations that when you host HANA in the cloud and you go in that direction, you want to make sure that you can achieve all of these interconnection points and that they're at the lowest latency possible. Yep, you may not have all of these applications, but the more complex your environment gets, the more you will be interested in the capability and the wherewithal of the hosting provider to support this model. Which, at Utopia, we support this model and more, because guess what? Our customers have multiple versions of ECC, for example, or MDM, and so we have to have different flavors, operating systems and databases, to be able to replicate those different reporting environments. and operational environments. So understand that when you go in the cloud, it's a three-way partnership, particularly with SAP applications and HANA specifically. Certainly SAP will provide you the licenses. Utopia provides you with the data management experience and the ability to load the information, do the transactional updates, the modeling, the views development, the report development, all of those very critical data management activities. And then the third leg in this three-legged stool is Savvis. And they are the hosting provider that provides the networking, interconnectivity, and telecommunications to meet your needs. So some people have heard of Savvis and some people haven't. Certainly you can check out their website, but they are the hosting provider of repute here for HANA in the SAP ecosystem. They've been around for a while. They have, as you can see on here, 54 data centers, very large enterprise portfolio, extremely strong financials. They are a subsidiary of CenturyLink, which is the third largest telecommunications provider in North America. So these people know what it takes to do hosting and how to do it robustly. And as you can imagine, they've got a client list, and here it is. This is just a sample of some of Savvis's customers, from consumer brands, some big names there, media, financial, government, travel and hospitality. So you can rest assured that a lot of these various corporate entities here and governmental entities have done their due diligence and have studied how to host their mission critical applications in the cloud, and they picked Savvis for that solution. So and when Utopia decided to partner with Savvis for the hosting side, because remember, we're the data people. We do data management, and we needed someone to help us provide a hosting option for our customers, because we don't do the data center telecommunications infrastructure and setting up the networks. We're about the data that goes in those networks, and so we wanted a partner that could build out those data centers. And so you take a look at the kind of infrastructure map that's needed to be supported, because Utopia is global, so is Savvis. They're all over North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and they even have a presence in South America as well. Now, we're getting near the end of our presentation here, but it's good for you to know that when you bring HANA in the cloud, there are services that you're going to want to select from. A menu of items, for example. You may be able to do some of these activities yourself, whether it's under HANA DBA modeling or under HANA DBA server maintenance. You may have those capabilities and you may not. And so the greatest flexibility is for you to be able to select from this list those activities that you need, and that allows you to gain the greatest cost-effective value proposition possible. Because there's no point for you to say, being forced to accept a transport maintenance service when that's not what you need. If you just need backup security and user permissions, fine. That's that's the kind of flexibility in hosting environment that allows you to come up with the best solution between your on-premise resources and what you need from the cloud. And so this gives you an example here of one user, if they wanted 4 different services, monitoring, upgrading, security, and debugging. That's perfectly reasonable when you consider how flexible and powerful a hosting environment is. So with that, I'd like to thank you for viewing our presentation today. As I said earlier, my name is Frank Dravis. I'm the Director of HANA and BI Services at Utopia. We have other presentations on YouTube specifically about HANA, our HANA services and the value proposition of having HANA in the cloud to begin with. So I'd like you, and I invite you to view those presentations. Thank you for your time.